President Obama was in Las Vegas giving a speech on immigration, and he had a liberal heckler go after him. Now, you can't really hear what the heckler says, but when we come back, I'll tell you. And the most important part is, look at Obama's reaction.
The truth is that they're not just... But the truth is, that's right. Not everybody will qualify under this provision. That's the truth, and that's the truth. That's why we're still going to have to pass a bill. That's why we're still going to have to pass a bill. So. Listen, I heard you, and what I'm saying is, we're still going to have to pass a bill. This is a first step. It's not the only step. We're still going to have to do more work. So I've heard you. I've heard you, young man. I've heard you, and I understand. I've heard you. But what I'm saying is, this is just a first step. So, young man, I'm talking to a lot of people here. I've been respectful to you. I want you to be respectful to me. All right? Okay.
His face at the end was classic. He had this look like, you motherfucker, let me speak. Now, usually when we do these heckler stories, I'm 50-50 because sometimes it's a great point that's not being made nearly enough, and you need somebody from Code Pink or some group like that to get in their faces. But then there's also the angle to heckling that you might not be helping your cause at all, because anytime you heckle, it's fair to say that a majority of the American people are going to be against you just viscerally, because they're like, let the person speak, you're being obnoxious, and you're being like a child. But on this particular example, I'm 100% with Obama. And I actually got a little bit angry at the fact that this was a liberal heckler. When I first saw the clip, I was under the impression it was probably a conservative heckler who was saying, oh, amnesty, ah! But it wasn't. It was a liberal heckler, and the heckler was saying, you should do more, you haven't done enough. Now, the reason why I got angry is this. We went through his executive order proposal on Friday's show, and we went through it with a fine-tooth comb. I gave you every aspect of it. I gave you the legality and the constitutionality of each provision. I gave you the things that he didn't do, and I told you the things that he wanted to do, but him and his advisor said we can't do it because we don't have the authority to do it. And I came to the conclusion that overall I applaud Obama for what he did. I think it's a good executive order. I said myself I would have been a little bit softer on the immigrants in the sense that there's one provision where he basically says, okay, you get to work and you get a Social Security card and you pay taxes, but you don't get any of the government benefits that go hand in hand with paying taxes. That I thought was too harsh, and there I thought was the one area where he could have said, no, if you become a citizen, you become a citizen, and you're treated like everybody else. Even if it's just temporarily staving off deportation, okay, you give them a little bit more since they're going to be paying taxes. So there was one little area where I disagreed with him, but by and large, it was spot on. And also, the arguments that are coming from some factions of progressives today and since the executive order, they're just unrealistic in the sense that they want Obama to do things that he doesn't have the constitutional authority to do. And that's not cool because, look, if Obama were to do something with an executive order that he doesn't have the authority to do with an executive order, you're setting a precedent that when the next Republican president comes into office and does something with executive orders that you don't like, you're gonna do a 180 and you're gonna be a hypocrite just like the Republicans are on every issue. You're going to like the liberal executive orders, you're going to hate the conservative ones, and you're going to be fine with it being outside of the bounds of what you can do when it's the liberals and not when it's the conservatives. We can't fall into that trap. We have to be smart in what we like and don't like. Yes, in a perfect world, I would like to get perfect immigration reform, but we don't live in a perfect world, and you have to function within the confines and the legal system that we're given. So Obama's executive order was very good, and for people to say, oh, you should protect agricultural workers, for example, which is one of the things that the Heckler here is mad at and other progressives are mad at. But you have to read the details, and you have to go to the articles and go to the source and find out what happens before you object. And like we discussed the other day, he couldn't do anything with the agricultural workers. Again, I would like it in a perfect world if we could, but the reason why he couldn't is because according to our Constitution and according to our system of government, all spending bills have to originate in Congress. And that's a situation where you would need to do spending to look after the agricultural workers and to single them out. So you can't affect them specifically via executive order. It's not possible to do that. So for progressives to stand up and say, well, we want you to do that anyway, and I'm going to heckle you because you didn't do that. Well, learn about the Constitution and learn about the way our system of government works and understand that he wanted to do it, but he couldn't do it because his advisors told him, and he knows because he's a constitutional lawyer, okay, I can't do this particular one. So you have to, I guess what I'm saying is know all the details of the situation before you object. Every once in a while, progressives fall into this trap of they object before they know what they're objecting to because you're hitting a hot button issue that's not perfect to them. So you're doing immigration reform, but you don't go all the way. You stop, people who are criminals from getting temporary status here. You're stopping people who have 3 misdemeanors from getting it. You're not extending this to all 11.3 million people who are here. And take care of all of them. Do it all. But you can't really do that. So the liberals and the progressives, this is one area, I don't do this often, where I usually, in fact, probably 95% of the time, I'm with the progressives when they're going after Obama and when they're disagreeing with him. But this is one area where it just doesn't make sense legally. It doesn't make sense constitutionally to go after him. He actually did a decent job with this executive order. The only fair critique, I would say, is the little one that I made before, right? And also the idea that he should have did it before the election, because we would have been better off. We would have gotten the base happier, and they would have came out in greater numbers.